This could be a new segment of the channel. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know what to call it. Dubious food.
Dubious food.
Basically, it's responding to comments. We just put out The Brothers. I started seeing the comments and I was like, oh, I want to discuss this on camera because there's so much like backroom fun that we all have talking about the comments. And it's like, that feels like stuff that could be on camera
we
too.
can share that.
Obviously, I've already read these and Michael, this is his first time hearing these.
Michael reacts to comments.
I take it as progress that even though Jaby chases the crazy, he draws the line at being shot. I thought that was so funny.
You know what? You're right. It is progress. There's got to be somewhere that like the red line that you do not cross. And I'm really glad that GSWs is that line for you. We found it, finally.
Jeez.
Just remember, ladies, you can do no wrong as long as you don't pull a Glock.
You can give me food poisoning. Just don't pull out a gun and we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what's funny is I do know someone who, well, I don't know him anymore. He was married at one point. Him and his wife divorced. I knew they had like an unorthodox relationship.
Okay.
I just didn't know to like what extent.
Yeah.
My assumption was that because they had sort of an open marriage, she slept with someone else and he got jealous and something, then they got divorced.
Yeah.
It turned out she got drunk and pulled a gun on him. And that's why he divorced her. I'm like, well, that's where I draw the line too. So
I am totally behind that.
Yeah.
You pull anything on me, I'm like, man, 10 years together, 5 years of marriage. I don't know, man.
You gotta draw the line somewhere. So I am good friends with a couple that have been together for over 30 years. And after the wife shot the husband in their 20s for cheating, he has never cheated again since that we know of.
Okay, hang on. So there is someone where being shot does not cross the line.
It worked out. Look, she was having a bad day.
I just needed to know how much she loved me.
Yeah.
She proved to me just how much she loved me. She was willing to take me out because I cheated.
I just wonder, like, what it must have been like for that dude to see The Brothers. Like, was he triggered, or was he like, yeah, looks about right? You know, I totally get it.
It's like, yeah, I could have saw that coming a mile away.
Yeah,
y'all. Like that's how it's going.
I would love to know if Auntie L_ATL, if you could give me an update with this friend of yours, if you're not talking about yourself.
Yeah, right. Friend of mine.
Auntie implies a woman, and so she's talking about a dude who was shot at. So presumably it's a friend of hers. I would love to know their perspective on the movie The Brothers. As someone that has met and talked with Shamar Moore, he even looks photoshopped in person.
No way.
The man is so beautiful and it's unreal. I didn't find it today, but someone said it's definitely the look. Because remember I was saying like sometimes I get bamboozled and I'm not sure if someone's a good actor or not.
Yeah.
Because they look so beautiful. Apparently, like, according to one person whose comment I can't find right now, that is the case. He's not that great of an actor.
Just the look.
He's okay.
He has that, like, charismatic look that, like, draws you in, and you just can't help be like, hi, please continue speaking to me.
Yeah.
Say words, thank you.
Lovaboy772 says, pulling guns out or shooting at people you love is typical black people shit, unfortunately. God damn. My two younger first cousins, a brother and sister, don't talk because they pulled guns on each other after an argument. Gosh. Woo. But they don't talk anymore, so that doesn't count. It's like it only counts if you all made up afterwards.
Afterwards,
and you're like, we're not going to do that anymore,
we're okay
right?
now. Yeah. I know you pulled the thing, but like we agreed to set our differences aside. That's crazy, y'all.
So there was someone that was close with my family, and he is a gun owner.
Okay.
And like my dad was over at his place, and they got into some kind of they got into a physical altercation because he thought he could take on my dad. And my dad has like a background in the military and martial arts and all this stuff. And my dad is like to everyone else, he was kind of a gentle giant. He was always making jokes at his own expense. And so things got a little playful, and then they went from playful. They went from playful to like rough, and my dad took him down to the ground using Taekwondo Hapkido techniques that I learned with him, by the way. And he pinned him down. And this guy got so mad, he like went to get his gun. And my dad held his arm up. He's like, whoa. He's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's crazy.
He stopped him from doing something stupid. But like,
as growing up in Alaska, I've been around firearms a lot. And it's one of those things that like, kind of always the teaching is separate the emotion from the use of this thing, right? I cannot understand being in an instance where I'm so mad that I have to go for a weapon of any sort.
I've been, but I just don't do it.
Yeah, right? Like, have some restraint.
I am that mad, but I'm not going to walk over there.
That's crazy.
I don't actually own a gun, by the way.
Again, growing up in Alaska, I've worked with firearms a lot. You know, it's one of those things where, like, everybody has them for hunting. Like, you use subsistence hunting to fill your freezer and cut costs on groceries. Like, it's a big part of life and living in Alaska. But the responsibility of having one of those is so high that people just don't understand it, right? Like, if you're an emotional person, if you're like quick to anger and you go to extremes, don't own a gun. If you're like an irresponsible college student, like the person who used to live above us in my family home that was moving out and hadn't properly like disarmed their firearm and sent a bullet through our roof.
Oh my God.
While we were having dinner in the house, don't own a firearm. It's like these common sense sort of things that, like, if you understand that about yourself, you shouldn't have these things. That's just like the general rule.
Okay, here's one that I just got to come clean on. So we're going to talk about it now.
Oh, no.
I just know y'all aren't still mixing up Jennifer Lewis and Lynn Whitfield. Every time y'all say something about her being mean, y'all got to be talking about Lynn. They don't even look alike. And I responded, I'm like, I did. And here's the thing. I tried to save us because in the comments, I made a reference to I vacationed there. And that's a Lynn Whitfield quote from a family reunion, I think.
Yes.
It's not, and while Jennifer Lewis was in that, she's not the one that said it. But because of Jennifer Lewis's vibe, and because I'm more familiar with Jennifer Lewis, I always attribute the quote to her, even though it's not her at all. It's Lynn Whitfield, who was also in the Martin Lawrence movie, A Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
Yeah.
She's the main antagonist.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, clearing the air, I made a boo-boo. And I've continued to make a boo-boo, and I've been bringing Michael along down this lane of boo-booness.
Just like chained up. Please stop. Please, Jaby.
It's my fault. I'll own that. I keep making that mistake. Loverboy772 says, and that's why I eat all my mother food whenever I'm with a woman. So you know the whole thing about like saving the last piece of chicken for her means you love her?
Oh, yeah.
And so he goes, I eat all the food when I'm around her. Ain't gonna be no misunderstandings. It goes like this.
Early on, my wife still brings this up. Before we started dating, in like the year we spent kind of circling each other and flirting, at one point we were sharing some French fries.
Oh, God.
And me, stupid teenage brain, like took the last few French fries because she hadn't like grabbed any in a while. And so I was just kind of like, it's one of those things where you're just like constantly grabbing and you don't realize how low it's getting.
It's munchy food.
Until I ended up grabbing and taking the last fry. For the first time in like 8 minutes, she reaches down to go for a fry and there's nothing there. And the look on her face, I thought I had like killed her prized puppy or something in front of her. She was so mad at me. And to this day, will bring it up, mostly joking, but sometimes not, in arguments about how I never do anything for her.
Wow.
She's like, you took the last French fry. I wanted those fries.
Time heals all wounds. I'm of two minds about that. On the one hand, I absolutely blame her. She should have been eating quicker.
Yeah, right? Right?
How long were you guys dating at that point?
Oh, we hadn't been dating at that point. Like that was like when we were still kind of like doing this year-long
then you messed up. That was you.
Oh, yeah, that was fully me.
Because if you'd been together for like a year, it's like, okay, you should know by now. He's going to do that punk ass shit without even realizing it. And so like at that point, you signed up for that. The last girl I dated, every time I went over to her place, all the snacks would disappear. She's like, why are you eating all my shit? I'm like, that's how I am. You can't keep snacks.
I'm just munching.
Yes. It's like, if there's food, I will eat it. That's how I'm designed. I'm sorry.
Oh my
you
God.
signed up for this.
Yeah. This is what you wanted. Don't you understand this is who I am?
This is how God made me. What do you want me to do? I have zero self-control.
Jesus Christ.
That's why I keep no snacks at my place. People are always mad when they come over. I'm like, then don't come over.
Yeah, don't come over.
don't have snacks here.
Because if I have them, they will disappear.
Exactly. What I try to do now is I will just try to have separate purchases. Okay, I will order my fries and I will order your fries.
Yes.
This way there's no issues because I don't want you to feel like you got gypped. And I also don't like when I order something and like I'm with a girl and she goes, I don't need anything. And then she's eating my food and it's like, look, I will buy you yours. I will be a gentleman.
I will happily supply you with the food that makes it so I can have my truffle fries and you can have whatever you want.
Sim Thompson says, it was not a gun, but my mom did stab my father or stepfather. Like literally centimeters from his heart.
Oh my God.
I didn't read this whole thing. They stayed together for 7 years. After that, they finally got divorced.
7 years. She got him with a knife and it took him 7 years?
Yeah.
I'd be like, if I were a marriage counselor, I'd be like, there's your problem.
Look, sometimes it's lonely out there. You just got to take what you can take.
The news report, all it says is they divorced amicably after 7 years of marriage.
You know, if I'm really like craving sweets and I go to a donut shop and all they have is jelly-filled donuts, I'm going to take the jelly-filled donut. I hate jelly-filled donuts. I think they're the worst. Yuck. But if I'm trying to get my jonesing fixed.
So in this metaphor, you're saying that she's the jelly-filled donut?
You got to take what you can get, man.
My God.
What are you going to do? Be alone?
I guess at a certain point, she's the crazy you know, so why would you step out for crazy you don't know?
I mean, the next one over is going to shoot you. So we draw the line at you getting shot at, not getting stabbed. We established this.
At least with the knife, you can run away.
Yeah.
You know?
No, getting stabbed also is just as bad as getting shot.
Oh, God.
I feel like getting stabbed is probably even worse.
Ultimately, body not meant for extra holes. Try to avoid having extra holes put into body.
Loverboy772 again. I snapped a bunch of his.
You and Loverboy.
Yeah. AC Green played with Magic Johnson's Showtime Lakers in the 80s. He was famous for remaining a virgin during his playing career for religious reasons until he got married.
Good for him.
I don't know why this came up. I must have said something
Yeah,
in
we
the
must have
reaction
said
that I forgot
something about
about. And then again, why do I feel like y'all keep mistaking Jennifer Lewis?
Ouch.
Yeah. I need you to tell me if there's any truth to this. Jaby panders too much, lol. I feel like I'm the least likely person to pander, like just objectively. I look at myself and I look at my behavior and I'm like, I honestly wish I pandered more because I feel like it would get me out of trouble.
I think objectively, knowing you as a person, no, you don't particularly pander. However, there is a sort of interesting like line that we walk because of like YouTube and the like YouTube environment it is today.
Sure, that's fair.
We all kind of do this, but taking cues from you as kind of like our leader, I guess. Sensitive subjects and things like that, we will lean into like what the positive is and try not to talk too heavy about like stuff that YouTube might have a red flag with.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think that's just that's just being practical.
That's just being practical.
Yeah.
So I think just like with an understanding of like what YouTube is and what we do here, some of what we do might come off as pandering. I think we do our absolute best to not step on anybody's toes because we love you guys and we don't want to offend you.
Yeah. I guess the way I treat it is, how would I act with you? Just like with a friend.
Yeah.
How would I act with a friend? And then add on top of that YouTube and the bureaucracy of that and like dealing with the rules of that. And so it's like it's that layer. So it's just like basic respect. One person to another, and like the creators as well of whatever we're watching.
Yeah.
So there's a basic level of respect there, and an understanding of like it's so hard to make movies.
Yes,
and so just being respectful of that, the material as much as we can, and giving it honest criticism, without it being like, oh, screw this thing.
I always try and go into it with this understanding of like this is somebody's favorite movie, even if it's just one person out there, and I don't want to like feel like this person's coming to this video and then just listening to us just absolutely tear into their favorite movie because that can be really like downtrodden.
Yeah.
So if it does feel like we're making a whole lot of an effort to try and relate or try and like understand where the movie was coming from a filmmaker standpoint, or like, it feels like we're not tearing into it as much as you maybe want to because you didn't like the movie. That's purely because we don't want someone out there in the audience feeling like they're not correct for loving the movie that they love.
Yeah, I think that's actually a very good, solid approach.
Yeah.
It's a healthy approach, and I wish that people would approach things like that with, in politics. Like, just approach, like, with a healthy kind of dialogue,
Yeah.
It's an exchange of ideas, and I feel like people are more open to listening to you if you're respectful. It's just that simple. It's like that's my main thing, is just being respectful.
And unfortunately, sometimes that respect to certain people can feel like pandering because there are people out there who maybe because they haven't really gotten a lot of respect or like nice treatment from people in general, or they've been screwed over too many times, they feel like people being nice or like generally saying nice things come off as disingenuine, especially here in Los Angeles. Like, a lot of people find people being nice, like they'll be nice to your face and then turn around and like stab you in the back or stuff like that.
Absolutely.
It's just like the nature of the industry here and like the culture here. Not saying everybody in LA sucks, but like there's kind of an assumption and understanding that that's kind of how people are out here. And so I can understand why people would be jaded and being like, oh, he's just pandering. The only reason they're enjoying these movies is because they want to pander to this audience.
I think that also, I always get afraid of people being mad at me about something. Like, I send a text message and I don't hear back for 5 minutes, and I'm like, oh God, I must have made them so
I've done
angry.
something wrong. Oh God,
and I'm like,
what
did I do to this person? And so like, I'm always just trying to make sure that like, it sounds so redundant at this point, but I'm just trying to be as respectful as possible while not losing integrity or honesty. Like that's a very tightrope walk, honestly, with YouTube. We got to get Jaby a nice country gal. I think we should submit one lady that the CinePals feel meet his needs. Who's down?
All right, send your recommendations. We need headshots. We need personality breakdowns. Perhaps a personality slate or something like that, and we will take them into consideration. Thank you very much.
I'm constantly looking at comments. Even if I don't respond, I'm constantly looking at them just to get a vibe check. And then, like, I'll get amused and laugh and, Anyway.
You guys were cracking him up today.
Yeah.
Like, we were downstairs eating lunch, and he just kept swiping through his phone and giggling and laughing. So, I mean, there's some quality ones. Thank you, guys.
If the response is strong on this video, we'll do more of these comment response videos. Dubious food. You guys... Thanks. That's such an inside joke.
I know. It's a reference to something we were referencing earlier in the video and being like, I don't know if anybody's going to get that. Yeah. So here we are.
Happy birthday, Jackie Chan. It's like 2 references. Where are we going?
Back here in the room, potentially. So take a
Happy birthday, Jackie Chan.
How you get that?